let's talk about navigating a changing P&L, because you've come out the other side of something that I know is probably tough to go through. There's a lot of transformation. At one point, I was looking at the financials. Yext had negative EBITDA margins and 1,400 people. And you stuck it out through exec turnover, the org changed, and it was a real reset that you had to run. So in those darker days, now that you have a little bit of space from it, what kept you in it, and how did you keep the team focused?
Yeah, no, I think the number one thing is the people. Like you got to love or really enjoy the people that you're working with. So for me, we have, a great team inside the company, and it was really the learning and growth opportunities again. I just sort of looked at okay, Mike is the new CEO. He's laying out his vision of how, he wants to run the company and where he thinks we can go and where he wants to take it. And that was really interesting, really appealing. And, like I said before, a lot of the ways he think and I think are pretty synced up, which makes it, a really easy partnership. So it was really that, right? I liked the people I worked with. I was really interested in the learning and growth opportunities that were going to become available. And it was, 2022, COVID wasn't that far in the rearview mirror, if it was even in the rearview mirror. So we had seen some tough times. Everybody saw some tough times. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to get any easier or better anywhere else. And I'm not, always attracted to things that are easy. The things that are hard, I think generally are, more appealing to me. So it was really just a mix of, all those things.
We were talking to Craig Conti. He's the CFO of Vera Mobility. So if you've ever been through an Easy Pass or a Sun Pass, they do the ticketing there. And he was saying all these people coming out of school, they all want to work at OpenAI or Google, or used to be Google. And those are all the quote unquote, the easier places to work from, a rising tide lifts all ships. The work you're doing is still hard. But he's and we said this at the top of the podcast, everybody wants those jobs. He's go work at the paper mill that's going to be shut down. Go work at a pet food supply manufacturer. The number of opportunities you'll get there. You can have this grass is always greener, or you can say I'm going to get to do stuff here that's going to pull me forward 5 to 10 years in my career.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, when Mike took over and the situation we were in was, we had negative EBITDA margins, cash flow was slightly positive, and we had, like you said, 1,400 people for a declining growth, where growth was decelerating. It just wasn't, a long-term viable configuration. So there was a lot of tough decisions that needed to be made, and it's that sounds really hard, and there's going to be a lot of difficult conversations, a lot of tough decisions to make. But for me, it was look, if any CFO, if I'm going to be a CFO for the rest of my career, there's going to be good economic cycles and bad economic cycles, and I'm going to need the experience at some point. So why not get it now?
And I know you probably hope you're at Yext forever, but if you think about what the job market values, they're looking for someone who has been dealt a hand during bad times and can come out the other side. It's kind of like how you think about operating managers over the last 5 years. All they know how to do is hire. They don't know how to downsize a team. They don't know how to get more out of it. So that is, having gone through shit is an asset.
Oh no, it completely is. It's funny, when we were hiring tons and tons of sales reps, in the 30-40% growth days years ago, what we started to see as the market started to shift in late 18, 19, 20, and we let competitors come up and steal some market share back then, and the sale got a little bit harder, and we hired a bunch of folks that were at software companies that saw explosive growth in 13, 14, 15, 16, and it became really, really challenging for them to be successful in a more competitive environment. And they hadn't been through the scrappy, I need to get out, I need to sell value, I need to demonstrate to the customer how we're going to help them solve problems. Because in the heyday of those companies that were growing 50, 60, 70%, there's just a lot of order taking that was happening. And it's a much different sale when you're in a competitive situation or a tough economic cycle or a really difficult procurement team.
Run the Numbers is a mostly LLC production. Yelling an intro by Fat Joe. Artwork by some AI thingamajig. Podcast and video editing is done by Cleancast at cleancast.io. Nothing said on this podcast is intended to be business or investment advice. It's the sole opinion of me, a guy who feeds his dog too much ice cream and has a history of net operating losses, LOL. If you like this podcast, please hit subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And also check out mostlymetrics.com. That's my newsletter where I explore business models and financial metrics. Thanks for riding with me. Share this with your friends. Peace.